Chaos Lord of Deimos here is asking for a challenge. And the challenger before him today is going to be Dark Riku with his Hive Tyrant. We're on Fedrid Folly. Let us see how this is going to go. So we've got two big melee brawlers on either side here. But mobility will definitely be heavily to the advantage of Dark Riku. Dark Riku not going to be going with what I would consider the more meta build of two Hormagaunts right now against Chaos. Going to be going with the old school two Termagants. I think two Hormagaunts is really good because the default Hormagaunts beat default ticks whilst costing not that much more, but default ticks are only speed 5 versus 6.5 on the Hormers, which gives you a gigantic map control advantage. Also, Hormagaunts with their adrenal glands can just charge at a Chaos Lord, and as long as the Chaos Lord doesn't get lucky in the specials, they can just kill him. So you just ignore the Chaos Lord. Obviously, Hormagaunts will rip up the CSM. Of course, the problem comes from Aspiring Champion Heretics, because they will tear Hormagaunts to pieces. And that's where the Termagants are useful, because Heretics are quite squishy, only being light infantry armor. The little flesh borer shots from the Termagants will do some good damage to the Heretics. Won't really do good damage against the CSM. So this is the game of rock, paper, scissors that we play right now. The CSM want to zone out the Termagants want to be finding the Heretics isolated, and the Hormagaunts want to be finding the Chaos Space Marines isolated. Chaos Space Marines are no slouch in melee. If the Chaos Lord participates in melee with them, he can do very well. I think he was a little bit premature there in his kill the week, but he procs a special instantly, and yeah, that's really lucky. The splash damage there, too much. And then you got Heretics and Retreat Path too. Looks like the Hive Tyrant for Dark Riku is now rotated over. Hormagaunts getting chopped up in retreat. Don't really think that Doom Blast was worth it. Just feeding XP to the Tyranids. Did it help kill the Hormagaunts? Or maybe one Termagant? I don't know. Is that even worth it? Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. So, looks like over here, the Termagants were basically uncontested because Deimos has gone for double CSM. The double CSM is meant to be useful in order to shoot down the Hive Tyrant. It's very difficult to kill a Hive Tyrant if you've only got Heretics. He's not really the kind of guy you want to fight in melee. The Hive Tyrant does have the highest DPS of all the starting melee heroes, and of course he's immune to knockback, and he's got the highest HP too. So you need to shoot the boy, hence we see double CSM here from Deimos. He also followed it up with another Heretic squad so he can compete in the map control. A nice cheap squad, slap the Aspiring Champion on him, and he's gonna now, this squad will beat any single squad that they come across from the Tyranid faction. Raveners would be the most awkward though, because they could lead the Heretics at range with their Devourers, and then burrow away if the Heretics try to engage them. Plus Raveners are speed 6.5 as well, so they can easily kite and shoot at the slower speed 5 Heretics. But other than that, and certainly if the Heretics catch the Ravs in melee, the Heretics will beat everything one-on-one. So they're a really cost-effective side-capping unit in the matchup, and that's why it's quite cool to go for this double CSM, double Heretic build against the Hive Tyrant. Less necessary to get the second CSM if you fight an Lictor or a Ravener, though the CSM will scale very well as this game goes on as well. Both Mark of Khorne and Mark of Tzeentch can be very scary. Mark of Tzeentch giving you the range advantage is extremely useful. Having Inferno Bolters, meaning you don't have reduced damage against the Hive Tyrant or the Warrior Brood, and then you get a Plasma Gun on the Aspiring Champion if you got the Mark of Tzeentch in Tier 2. Plasma is amazing against Tyranids, really threatening against the Tyrant Guard, really threatening against the Warriors. Remember, Hive Tyrant in Tier 2 can call down the Tyrant Guard using his Global to get it cheaper and faster. So having access to those Plasma Guns on your CSM could be very useful to counter that. But the Mark of Khorne can be good too, we'll have to see. That's a Tier 2 thing, we'll talk about that more once we get into Tier 2. Dark Riku might not even be going for Tyrant Guards. So far, very dominant map control here from Dark Riku, but it is to be expected to an extent. As I said at the start of the game, the Chaos versus Tyranid matchup, Chaos are arguably the slowest faction in the game, now that I think about it. Orcs at least get speed buffs when they blob together and use War. Other than that, they're both very slow factions. Space Marines cap faster with their Tactical Marines, they've got Scouts which are really quick. IG move around with a Sentinel, getting map control, and generally have a lot of squads. Eldar, of course, a fleet of foot. So yeah, it's quite the contrast, because Tyranids are the fastest. Will he catch the Chaos Lord here? Yes, he will. But these heretics here, you'll notice, they are not really very effective because they're just default heretics, no aspiring champion on them, meaning they've got very, very low HP. So those heretics get melted with a double termagants there, contributing a lot of DPS in too. If you don't have your aspiring champion on your heretics, they are very much fodder. I mean, as I always say, people always say that I say it, and I like to remind you all, heretics are the cheapest unit in the game. So it's not surprising that they perform so poorly. But the cheapest unit in the game, in Dawn of War 2, can be very effective, because they still cap at the same rate as everyone else, right? Even though you can get more of them. So Deimos a little bit on the back foot here, to be honest. I mean, he must have bled quite a bit. I'm not really sure what he actually bled, because he seems to have no requisition right now. He's got a decent amount of power. He does have the double Eternal War upgrades on his CSM, giving them a flat damage increase. I don't really think that that is a great priority. I probably wouldn't have got that myself in tier 1. I'd have probably got that in tier 2. Perhaps got that when he's seen that the Hive Tyrant is invested in the Rending Talons and the extended Carapace. So now this Hive Tyrant is going to be a lot more impactful. Gets a bit of mobility with the extended Carapace, as well as a disengage if he ever finds himself in melee. But realistically, when he's got the Rending Talons, and plus he's got the Seismic Roar with its AoE 35 piercing damage and damage over time, nothing is going to be threatening him in melee. The Chaos Lord can't do anything in tier 1. He doesn't have any melee weapon upgrades in tier 1. He only has his Combi Bolter, which he has right here, but that doesn't make him any better in melee. So he's doing about 30 DPS in melee with 1000 HP. This guy's doing 75 melee DPS with 1250 HP. Suffice to say, the Chaos Lord can't do anything against this guy in melee. So he's not going to need the disengage from the Carapace, but he can use it for the mobility to put pressure onto the CSM. So perhaps that's why Deimos felt the need to get the Eternal War to counter that. But honestly, you can see he's super slow. He's slower than your average unit. He's only speed 4.5, which is what balances out all these stats. And of course, unlike the Chaos Lord, he doesn't have a sidearm. So you just kite him. Don't fight him. Run away. Even if he is charging around, just keep running. We've got the Corn Worship as well. Could have opted for a Havoc as well to try and control it. Dark Riku, of course, not gone for anything like a Ravener squad here. I don't really know how Deimos' economy ended up so bad in terms of requisition. It's a bit baffling to me, but nonetheless, he is holding on. The most crucial thing, of course, for Deimos is that he hasn't lost his generator farm, but he is losing a tremendous amount of VPs right now, and that is going to be a concern for him as we get into tier 2. However, both players are going to be getting into tier 2 at a very similar time, which is good for Deimos, given that he has had the weaker end of the map control. And this is where we see the DPS coming out. Combi Bolter on the Chaos Lord having 100% fire on the move and good range helps a lot when you're dealing with this Hive Tyrant too. Heretics obviously don't want to engage here, they're just stalling with their Doom Blast, and forces a preemptive Seismic Roar there, which mostly misses. Termagant's not blobbed up. For some reason, the Termagants over here are capping, and that's a problem because it means if you've only got one Termagant, you can't really deal with the Chaos Lord. Because you're just not going to have enough DPS, and then he's going to get in melee with you, and it's a problem. So we're going to see Bloodletters here for the Chaos Lord, very fitting, since he has that Corn Worship. We're going to see a Tyrant Guard into a Zoanthrope, and we've got Rippers. Honestly, Macacorn might be pretty good right now. One Macacorn, one Macazinch, I think could be very effective. Don't really think it'd be worth getting any other Chaos Lord upgrades right now, but really, the big concern for Deimos is the fact that he is already under 100 VPs and Riku has basically lost none. He's now got Rippers as well, spawns out of the Capillary Towers, whereas his towers, he's just got his first one in the base here. The Warriors, no upgrade on them yet. They're getting extra HP regen when they're near to the Zoanthrope with its HP aura. But you can see here the Rippers just go on attack the CSM, keep them busy. Stop them from firing, and then the Hormagaunts can move in, and the Hormagaunts will do very good against the CSM, so long as the CSM do not have an aspiring champion. The aspiring champion is a little bit more scary. Probably gonna, yeah, one dead CSM model. That's more requisition down the drain for Deimos. Deimos does have his Bloodletters under worship here, though, and they do power melee. They do. Let the Galaxy burn. But it only hits the Tyrant Guard and the Hive Tyrant, which is really bad. That's not great for you, Let the Galaxy Burn. Of course, priority target here will be the blob of Termagants, but Let the Galaxy Burn is more accurate. And what I mean technically is it has less spread the closer range you use it to the Chaos Lord. So whilst hitting the blob of Termagants would do the most damage because they don't have fire resist and they're generally quite squishy with a lot of models, using it at close range to deter the warriors or the Hormagaunts could be quite effective. It does knockback too, which is good if you combine it with the Bloodletter Hellblades. We see some economic upgrades coming in here for the Gaunts. I believe both the Termagants have already got it. We got it coming in here for the Hormagaunts. Endless Swarm, 10% more HP for the Gaunts, and the ability to reinforce 2 models for the price of 1. Just helps them scale. Of course, they will also scale with the advantages of Synapse. Speaking of Synapse, we now have the Adrenal Glands on the Warrior Brood. You see a gigantic increase to their HP there. Swaps out their Power Melee Claws for Heavy Melee Claws, which is usually not a big deal, but it could be very effective if we see a Blood Crusher. Probably not, though. Looks like Bloodletter Spam is going to be the play here. Generally quite effective against Chaos, to be honest. I think if we were not against the Hive Tyrant, a Dreadnought could be a good play, but against the Hive Tyrant, it's not really very useful. Also, the Khorne Dreadnought is currently bugged still, so that's completely off the table. But yeah, you go for a default Dreadnought. Okay, whoa, Bloodlust. Every time, look at the Bloodletter damage on the Hive Tyrant there, because of the Bloodlust. Every time Deimos does a attack right now, melee or range, but particularly melee, he's going to get a massive increase to his damage of all of his units in play, and we see the Bloodletters there, able to catch up to the Hive Tyrant and kill that motherfucker. Chaos Lord still remaining in play, but has to be careful right now. He's snared by the crippling poison, and there is a Tyrant Guard on retreat. I think that Chaos Lord's dead. Goes for a kill the weak. Tyrant Guard is too busy doing special attacks and missing. Now throws out an Immolate, but Deimos is so low on VPs. Deimos has now got onto the natural. He's also contesting the contested with a squad of CSM over there. He's got his double Bloodletters in play, 8 Bloodletters, all under worship. He's going to do a hell of a lot of damage to the super heavy infantry, the Tyrant Guard, thanks to them all having power melee. So that is 8 power melee Hellblades. They can be healed up again now. One of them should go for the capillary, one should cap, and the rest of the heretics should be healing. But Deimos is down to 35 VPs. He's got a 3rd Bloodletter squad coming out, but my god, how's he going to do this? He's only got 35 VPs to 470 for Dark Riku. Dark Riku is now going tier 3. Of course, the play for Dark Riku is to get a Khan effects out. So you'll notice, of course, the Tyranid economy is absolutely fantastic, which is balanced by the fact that they can't get vehicle armor on a moving unit in tier 2. The only vehicle armor that they can field is the Tyrant Guard when it is in the shield wall. But of course the problem there is it can't move and it can't attack. So you don't have a typical vehicle in tier 2. And that's what he needs right now, because these Hellblades are going to rip apart basically any of his tier 2 infantry options. But the vehicle armor of, let's say, a Carnifex, particularly a Fawnback Carnifex with vehicle armor and melee resist, will be extremely resilient to the Hellblades. And will be very good, basically. You can also just charge straight over the worshipping heretics and do tremendous damage to them as well. But of course, Deimos could get some Plague Marines with their missile launcher, and that will snare the Carnifex, and I'll control it a little bit. But again, it's not really very valuable, because the Fawnback Carnifex can then just spawn Rippers, which tie up the Plague Marines. So if Riku can get a Fawnback Carnifex, he should be very good here. But we'll see. So he needs to prevent himself from bleeding. Of course, the whole time he is pressuring the map. He just needs to spread his units around. I'm a little bit confused right now as to why Deimos has abandoned the northwest portion of the map here, given that He is so lacking in VPs. This is Fedrid Folly, and anyone who has watched my replays on Fedrid Folly knows the crack here. Look at the proximity of these two VPs. It's so easy if you just blob your whole army here to hold on to these two VPs, especially when your opponent doesn't have any infiltrating units. And neither Chaos nor a Tyranid that isn't the Lictor Alpha have any such units, other than the tier 3 Lictor, which we're not seeing because he wants to get a counterfix. You see, Riku's got all the time in the world. Look at how many VPs he's got. He's chilling. He can wait a very long time. So Deimos is rotating over. Riku's staying in play here to try and get the cap, which is a little bit greedy actually, because like I said, he has all the time in the world. The CSM here have activated Slaughter, increasing their damage all around. And here we go again with another Bloodlust. Trying to get the wipe on the Tyrant Guard. Did it just charge? So it doesn't have... Oh my god, it did, and it got blocked by the Bloodletters. Hilarious. It really should have gone into Shield Wall to protect it with that vehicle armor that I mentioned before. It doesn't matter. Hive Tyrant's there to save the day with a beautiful crippling poison there. You can see it doesn't really do any damage to these Bloodletters because all the AoE damage is just getting negated by the healing from the worship. But it does knock back on demand, and that saved life of the Tyrant Guard. Not that the Tyrant Guard is particularly useful right now. I would be rotating the Tyrant Guard to guard this point. Okay, Riku actually just has lost so many units. So he lost a Termagant here, rather unnecessarily. I don't know where he lost the Hormagon. Probably over here, I guess? But that's a problem. That's a big problem for Riku. He's lacking units right now. Even if he gets his form back counterfix, it can't cap. And it's just going to struggle, forcing things off with the Corn Worship, healing the Bloodletters and giving them more speed. There's just so many units to try and deal with. Now we've got one Mark of Tzeentch, fully upgraded CSM squad here. Honestly, this composition isn't even looking that bad. Of course, Deimos has absolutely nothing to deal with vehicles, but... Deimos has 100 pop. Wow, that's crazy. He has 100 pop. What is Riku doing? Riku actually had his power taken. It's so weird to see a tier 3 Tyranid which is lacking in power. Well, in a 1v1. In a 3v3 it's quite common because the Carnifex train is very power intensive, but man, in a 1v1, usually by the time they get to tier 3 they're chilling. Look at that, Bloodletters teleport in, the pair of them, and manage to snag the Hive Tyrant on retreat path as well. Beautiful play. Heretic worshipping again, giving them the extra speed and the regen, and now look at this, boom, turn around, 8 Hellblades on a Tyrant Guard that's isolated. Lucky special there, but the Tyrant Guard's so slow in doing anything, the Bloodletters have nearly healed off all the damage. Of course, Bloodletters under worship are cracked, and Tyranids suffer against it. Raveners. I knew it was coming, Letters versus Nids. Yeah. Raveners are a source of extra range damage. They do more damage than Termagants. Raveners would help burst down the Bloodletters. Of course, if he had 2 Termagants, he'd be doing more damage. And of course, if he had a Venombrood with range synapse, he would also be doing more damage with all of the aforementioned units. Of course, if he actually didn't lose his gen farm here, and not only did he lose it, he let his foe cap the gen farm, then Dark Riku would have access to a lot more power, and he would have had his Carnifex on the field a long time ago, the Carnifex being vehicle armor. Wouldn't really give a damn about the Bloodletters. So... I don't know, he's fighting it wrong. He's fighting the Bloodletters with the Tyrant Guard, which they're designed to counter. You know, you can go Gene Stealers, but I wouldn't actually want to go Gene Stealers. This is quite funny, isn't it? Look at the Zone Probe trying to hurt the Bloodletters. Can't do any damage because they just heal it off with the Corn Worship. So you see Riku has started targeting the CSM and the Heretics, which is smart. I don't think the Zemphra did anything all game either. Like, it heals the Tyrant Guard, I guess, but it's not like Deimos had Havocs. And Deimos wasn't blobbing his things together, so I don't know. It's kind of weird. There's a lot of damage coming out of those helpers right now. Even against the vehicle armor, they're going to chop that Tyrant Guard to pieces. Especially with the Inferno Bolters coming in too. Yeah, what level are these Bloodletters? Level 2, level 2, level 1. What's this? The Warrior Brood getting wrecked over here. Yeah, I mean, look, the damage coming out here is tremendous. Level 3, fully upgraded Eternal War, Zinch Chaos Space Marines. So a lot of damage against your CSM. You needed this Carnifex out a long time ago. Endless Swarm, no, sorry, not Endless Swarm. Without Number. I always get them too confused. Tier 3 Global for the Nids calls in a fully upgraded Horm and Termagant squad. CSM running into the base here. But the Spore Mine turrets are going to deal with him. So the Carnifex should gobble up one of them. No. Fawn back on the Carnifex. Hive Tyrant rotating to this side. He's going to have to camp on this side of the map. Now a Chaos Dreadnought's coming out. Presumably a mark of Zinch. To put pressure on the Carnifex from afar whilst it's trying to chase down the Bloodletters. If the Carnifex is chasing the mark of Zinch Dreadnought, you can worship to help your Dreadnought kite. But it also means that the Bloodletters then have free reign to rip up all the infantry and cap the map. And that's important because Dark Riku is somehow down to 51 VPs right now. So this is very much a VP capping kind of game right now. Dark Riku did manage to pick up the farm back. Probably wants to be trying to get the bonded exoskeleton on its Hive Tyrant as well. So he has that immunity. Very useful to have some form of invulnerability when it is a VP capping kind of situation. Especially on the Hive Tyrant, because you can't even knock him over whilst he's invulnerable and capping. You just gotta suck it up. So he's got the farm back Carnifex sitting on the VP, but this is a lot of Bloodletters. Oh, here comes Bloodlust. Oh, this is interesting. Let's see how much damage they can do with the stacking damage buffs. Look at this, man. They are doing good damage with that Bloodlust. There's the charge onto the Heretics, though. You've got to get rid of the Heretics, or the Worship's just a nightmare. If the Carnifex can proc some specials, that will help, but of course he can't, because he's only level 1. So he's got 70 melee skill versus the Bloodletters, all level 2, 71 melee skill. But he is attacking the ones that are level 1, but he's not proccing any specials. Where are the specials, Carnifex? No specials. It's unlucky. The special on the Carnifex is beautiful. Does huge damage. Needs to reprioritize these Bloodletters. He's shooting the wrong ones. He's got his Termagants in there, which are doing something. You see what I mean? The Termagants are contributing good damage against these level 2 Bloodletters. If you had double Termagants and Raveners under range Synapse, that would do quite well. You know, instead of the Zone Frog or something. Or like Deimos said, instead of the Zone Frog, you could have gone Gene Stealers. And they'll do fine. You just charge through the Bloodletters, rip apart the Heretics, and then turn on the Bloodletters and fling them. There you go, special came in, but the Bloodletters phased out. 21 to 16, Lictor is now on the field. Bloodletters get killed by the Farmback Carnifex. You can see the Farmback Carnifex, even with the amazing Bloodlust Global, which, lucky, is one of the best globals in the entire game. Even with that global, Farmback Carnifex is dominating things, but Deimos has the position over here, and he just finished capping over here as well, but he shouldn't be able to force the Lictor off. Lictor needs to get on the point. What's he doing? Lictor walking around that tank trap for some reason. Lictor does cap and decap 50% faster. Oh, but now there's a Predator out. Can he stop this Lictor from capping? What's he doing? No, Riku! You've got to cap! No, Riku, why are you not capping? Oh my god. He's charging here in a desperate attempt because the charge from the Farmback Carnifex does actually do ability knockback, so you can see it knocks over Chunguses, even like the Chaos Lord, so it prevents him from decapping. But now, of course, the Lictor is forced off with the arrival of the Bloodletters once again and the Predator tank. And then Riku loses because he can't prevent the CSM from capping this point, and of course he has nothing to contest over here. The Lictor is now rotating to the contested. Big mistake. He should have just capped that in front of the CSM. I think he would have had time. I think he would. Maybe. It would have been close. Well, he had to go for it anyway, and he didn't. Damn, dude. What the hell? How did Riku lose that? I mean, shit. A few key things, I guess. Tyrant Guard not really doing anything for Riku against the composition. I mean, double CSM and triple Bloodletters. Yep, good luck, Tyrant Guard. Felt like the Hive Tyrant didn't really achieve anything in Tier 2 either. Might have been better off. Honestly, get a ranged blob, get improved Synapse, and then keep your Ending Talons to disrupt the Bloodletters when they teleport in. Could have been a lot more effective, and flank with Gene Stealers and Warriors. I think that would have been a lot better. I'm just saying. And of course, Riku took ages to get his Carnifex out because he lost all of his gens to the Bloodletters. And in fact, Deimos caught that point. And it's hilarious to me because typically when I play, I don't even attack the gen farm of the Tyranids because they just end up having so much more power than you anyway, getting ahead in tech, that risking your position and losing so many VPs and potentially having squads wiped by the really fast Tyranids just to get some gen bashes going, generally not very effective. But somehow, even when Deimos only had 76 VPs or so, he managed to get that full gen bash off and rotate his forces and prevent himself from losing his own natural VP over here. So it worked out for him. Hope you did enjoy that one, folks. That is all from your boy Torpid. I am going to be signing out.